Hello everyone. So we are going to try something new, and we're going to do this video live here on Facebook so that you can ask any questions that I can answer at the end. And of course this recording will be available anytime here on Facebook, and it of course will be available on YouTube as well. Now, so once you have decided that you want to sell your home, now what? Do you know what the first steps are and what most buyers are looking for? You may be surprised how much more emotional this decision is rather than logical, at least for most buyers. Now, I do have a checklist that I can send you, so you can be prepared. If you would like that, you can leave a comment down below that just says, "Yes, please." Now, we're not going to go over everything in order to keep this video from being too long, but your first step should be deciding if you need a realtor or not. And I do have a video that you can watch to see whether you think you should use one. I will put the link down in the comments below. But 99% of cases you should. And your realtor will help you with all of these next steps so that you are not doing them blindly. You only have one chance to make a great first impression on these buyers. And that is what people will remember about the homes that they are looking at. They will remember how they felt when they walked into the home. Were they greeted with any bad smells or good smells? Did it feel dirty or clean? Was there a lot more damage than what the picture showed? It's all about setting up the right impression. You don't want to oversell your house on the MLS or the internet, because then you'll just end up with a ton of people in your home for showings, but no good offers because of the disappointment. Now, your realtor can help you with all of this, but one of the most important things is to declutter. You want to people want to feel at home when they come and see houses. So you only want 4 to 6 pieces of furniture in each room, and you only want about 2 to 3 items on each surface. Anything else you're going to want to put either in a storage bin, in the garage. You can even get a storage unit. Maybe putting papers or anything into a closet or a bin or a drawer. You just want everything kind of out of the way. You want people to be able to visualize themselves in your home, and that can be kind of hard to do if you have all of your own stuff sitting around. And so for personal pictures, this is kind of more optional. Some people would advise against having some of your own personal pictures in your home while people are viewing it. I don't think it matters too much as long as there's not too many pictures. If you have pictures of your family all over the place, then they may be distracted from looking at the home, and you want them to pay more attention to the home. So personal pictures are more of a personal opinion, but just make sure they're not too distracting. Let's see. Now, keep your clothes and dishes put away at all times, and keep your beds made, because you always want to be ready for any last minute showings. If you deny somebody because you feel like your house isn't ready, then their first impression is going to be that they weren't allowed inside the home when they wanted to. And in this fast-paced world, people will just move along. So natural light is the #1 feature that buyers look for. So make sure that you keep the blinds open and turn on any lights before a showing if possible. Now, they also would recommend doing odor absorbers, and these are really cheap. They're only $1 at the Dollar Tree, so I would recommend putting at least 1 in every room. And then for those stinky rooms, you know, with like the pets or the dirty shoes, maybe laundry rooms, you can put 2 or 3 if you'd like. And it's actually they're not expensive, so it's a cheap way to make people feel good when they are viewing your home. Now, if you have any carpet, whether it's ugly or just in rough shape, you want to get rid of it. Now, if it's brand new carpet, I wouldn't recommend getting rid of it, but because there are people that still like carpet and you don't want to waste the money that you already spent. But if you have carpet that may not be very presentable, then just rip it out. And you don't even have to refinish the floors that are underneath, because most people just like to see that there are other floors. I mean, you've seen HGTV, right? It's really hard for people to see past things like this. So it's easier for them to see it. Even if they have to refinish it themselves, they'll just be happy that it's there. So if you have the wood flooring, whether it's just tiled or original hardwood, you want to make sure that that is visual. Make sure that people are able to see it. Now, that goes the same for walls. If you have any walls that are too brightly colored or too dark, you may want to consider repainting those. And then same goes for cabinets. Oak cabinets kind of give a really outdated feel, so you want to either paint them white to help brighten up the kitchen, or gray is an extremely popular color right now. I've been in houses where there are just gray walls, gray flooring, gray cabinets, gray decor. I mean, literally these houses are puking gray. And don't get me wrong, gray is a great natural, neutral color for any home, so if you need to change anything out, then gray can be a good option. Just make sure it's not everything gray. It's nice to have a little bit of variety in there. Now most buyers will look at multiple homes, so you want to make sure that you're doing something that makes your home stand out. If you would like to take your showing a step farther, you can always make flyers that highlight features of both the home and the neighborhood. You can leave out little bottles of water or little goodie bags, because buyers pick home based more on emotions. How did they feel when they were in the house? So make sure you're thinking about this when you are looking around and trying to stage your home, because buying a house is not as logical of a decision as you would think. And actually, you can read this book right here. It explains a little bit about how we make decisions, or we use emotions sometimes and logic other times to make decisions. It's a pretty interesting read, but I wouldn't worry too much about doing some of the expensive upgrades, like the roof, or some of the others, redoing like windows or things like that. It can be really expensive to change those out, but you're not likely to see your money back, because I mean, most likely most buyers won't even notice things like that. I mean, most houses, they come with windows, they come with a roof, so they're not going to really want to pay extra, even if it's something that you recently updated. So you're not likely to get your money back on those. And these are things that you can actually use and leverage when you're trying to negotiate the price. What's next? Now, if your city requires an inspection, you should look into that, and you should actually do it as a seller. I know in the seller's market, sometimes they're trying to get buyers to do it, but I think as a seller, you should actually do it. I think it will be important knowledge for you to know. And because a lot of these, they can be things that are easily fixed and that you can do, or again, you can use this as leverage when negotiating for the house. This will help to weed out any surprises that may come up and interfere with the selling process, because it's really easy to find a buyer these days, but it's much harder to get a buyer to the closing table, because buyer's remorse is real, it is common, and is something that we need to try to avoid. And then these inspections can also give you an idea of whether you can accept FHA and VA buyers, which I would highly recommend, but we can talk about that at a different time. Now, if your house is vacant, you or your realtor should be going there frequently just to flush the toilets, just to do some light cleaning, check for any smells, and make sure that the temperature of the house is good for the current weather outside, because you don't want anything that's going to force the buyers out too quickly before they really get a feel of the house. And as you are preparing your home, you should also be filling out the paperwork, and your realtor can help you to do this correctly so that you do not end up getting sued or end up in some kind of bind later on. For example, when you're filling out the paperwork, you should disclose everything on the seller's disclosure. If something is not working, or if there is a leak in the basement, admit to it and just explain what happened and what you did to fix it. This is your chance to really redeem any faults that buyers or their inspectors may find in your home, for a few reasons. One, they may find out anyway. Two, it shows that you're being honest and buyers can trust that you're not trying to hide things. Three, if they try to blame you for anything that happens later on, well, then you can prove that you already told them everything. And four, like I said before, we don't want to give them any reason to back out of the sale. So honesty really is the best policy here, even when it comes to pictures. If there's a crack in the wall, let it show. If the basement looks like a creepy dungeon, post a picture. If there could be any negative surprises when they go to view the house, then you want to have a picture of it. There have been so many times that I see a fabulous house online and my clients get really excited, but then there's this huge disappointment because the house isn't nearly as immaculate as the pictures made it seem. And what my buyers remember is the disappointment. They don't remember the beautiful fireplace in the living room or the fancy hot tub outside. They just remember the flaws they weren't expecting. So you want to make sure that you are giving them the right expectations. Now, there are certain ways to do this so that it doesn't seem like such a big issue, and this is your chance to really acknowledge and make it better so it won't be this big negative surprise when they see the house in person. And again, your realtor, if you decide to use one, can really help you to turn this into something good while also highlighting some of the best features of the home. All right, now pricing. I don't really like to talk about this too much because it can get a little touchy. Some people think their house is worth way more because there's a lot more emotion into it, and this can be a really long topic, so we'll discuss it another time. If you would like me to do a video on pricing your home, you can write "great price" in the comments below. So these are just the first steps. Don't forget to ask me for my sale prep checklist by saying "yes please" down in the comments. But the next steps are going to be showings, and then offers, and then the acceptance, and trying to get to the closing table, which actually isn't as easy as you think. Like I said, it is easier to find buyers, not as easy to make sure that those buyers stick to the process and actually buy the house. It's a lot easier than you expect for a buyer to get out of that contract. So if you have any questions about presenting your home, you can feel free to leave me a comment below. I will be checking this periodically. Hello Crystal, hello Erin, thank you for joining. And if you prefer to ask me personally, you can always reach out to me. I would love to hear from you, and I can probably meet as long as you're not in a different state. But so like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. And I don't want to take up too much time here, so we will just leave it at that, and I hope that I get to hear from you guys pretty soon. All right, well, stay healthy, stay happy, and trust your realtor. See you guys.